Good evening, everyone. Another edition of On the Road again with Shaggy, and we are off this time for a little shopping. That's right. The time has come to pick up a new pair of shoes, and the reason why is because I have frankly worn holes in the pair that I wear to work every day. So I don't buy shoes very often because, well, one, they're really super expensive. And two, I can never find any that I like. So what normally happens is I will buy a pair and wear them until they're absolutely destroyed. And, then I will try and find that exact same pair at the store so that I can buy them again. And what always happens inevitably, because it's another conspiracy to screw me over, is they don't make those anymore, or they don't carry them anymore, and there's a ton of shoes I don't like. I swear the world is out to get me. And it's not my imagination if it's true. I think we can all agree on that. But while it seems like my episode regarding the propane and grilling industry's conspiracy seems to have touched a nerve with a few folks, I want to talk about something a little bit more literally down to earth this time around. And it was kind of brought up by the fact of Wednesday, I had to attend a funeral for my neighbor. Her husband passed away. Now, he had had cancer for a while and he was in hospice, which is a great program, by the way. You should really support hospice. It was just, it was his time. He'd lived a full life, and I think the whole family was they weren't happy that he was gone, but they were happy that he didn't suffer and that, he wasn't in pain anymore. And that's all that we can really ask in the end, is that they're not suffering, So anyway, but anytime that I attend a funeral, it makes me think, what is my funeral going to be like? And I know it's not a pleasant conversation for a lot of people. It's not one that you want to have. It's not something that you necessarily want to think of all the time. Oh, I'm going to be dead, so what do I care? Is a lot of people's opinion. But for me, I look at it as a way to measure my life, my existence. The people that show up to your funeral and how your funeral goes, what is said, what is done, what the atmosphere is like, I think it kind of reflects how you led your life. And I might be totally wrong, but my hope is that there are a lot of people at my funeral. Now, right now, I don't think that guest list is very long, but my hope is that during my life, I touch a lot of people and they come to, pay their respects. I have been to funerals where the visitation was supposed to be from 6 to 10, or from 6 to 8, and the funeral home had to stay open until almost 10 o'clock to get everybody through. That is, not that I hope that people have to stand in line forever, but I hope that a lot of people show up. Because I don't mean that I touched a lot of people, that I interacted with a lot of people, and that I had, hopefully, a positive experience with a lot of people. That's my hope for my life, is that I get to do that. That the net goal is, caring. That's what I want, the ultimate. If somebody had to sum up my life in one word, or me in one word, I hope that they say caring or generous, and not necessarily in a financial way. But that's my hope. I know for a fact I have friends that I would say that about them today. I look at my dad, and my dad has faults, don't get me wrong. He definitely has some faults. But he would give you the shirt off his back if he thought that you needed it or that you asked for it. And that is really the kind of person that I try to be. I try. That's one of his morals that I really, really, aspire to. He, like I said, he's got problems. We all do. We all have things that we don't like. But, I think he's got a hard work ethic. He's got a sense of friendship, and that I think is great, that I really value, and that I try to emulate. And then I try to pick up qualities from other people. I had a scoutmaster for years and years, and his just caring and passion for other people and what they need. That's what I got from him. His name is Al Allen. He's now a priest, actually. Those are the things. I want people to remember me for those things. I don't want people pointing out my mistakes, and granted, that's not something you often do at a funeral, but unless they're funny. I do want people to laugh. I want people to talk about the funny things. One of the best funerals I've ever been to was for my brother-in-law. And I know that sounds stupid to say, one of the best funerals, but it was great because we celebrated him. All right? He was a smartass. All right? He was a jokester. He was a trickster. He was a comedian. All right? He was born and raised in Illinois, but then moved south. And boy, did he fit in. He was great. And, the preacher during the service actually asked people to say one word that they thought encapsulated Tom. And my word was smartass. I like that about him. I like that about that service, that everyone was offered to say something about him, but you had to keep it brief, and it made you think about what you're going to miss about them the most. And for him, it was his sense of humor, because it was never ending. It really was. And I try to think about that about all the friends that I've lost and all the family that I've lost, is what is the one thing that I really, really miss about them? And that I try to hold on to, because other memories, they fade. They go away after a while. You don't remember all the details. But there's always one core value that you will remember from everyone that you lose. And, I think if you can sum it up in one word, it's even better. It's a better way to remember them. So, I know my grandmother, it was family. To a fault, it was family for my grandma on my dad's side. She put up with so much crap just to keep the family together. I could do a whole episode on just what that woman put up with. All right? And grandmother on my mom's side, strength. All right? Again, it's kind of related. She put up with a ton of my grandfather's garbage on that side. All right? But she was a strong woman who held her own. And it was important to her to do that. And, those are the things. I want people to remember that. Yes, I want a large crowd. But I want a crowd that remembers something about me and hopefully remembers those types of things. And has fun. I want it to be a joyous occasion where people remember the good times that we had together. Hopefully, whenever I go, it's quick and it's not drawn out. I think that we can all agree that's what we hope for ourselves and for our family and friends, is that it's not a long drawn out thing, especially if pain's involved. That's where, I don't know, there is a whole social topic about assisted suicide, especially for people with terminal diseases. And that is such a slippery slope for discussion that I don't want to get into it. But, it goes right along there with the abortion topic. There's so many personal views on that I do not want to try and inject my own into yours. Because you're either going to agree with me or not agree with me. And no matter what, if you don't agree with me, we're never going to agree. And if you agree with me, I didn't do anything to make it that way. You just already did. So why should we talk about it? There's some things that are just so polarizing. No matter what you do, it's not going to change. And the thing that I just ask about for all those situations is that, as always, you understand that it's fine for you to have an opinion and for you to hold those things to yourself. But it's never okay for you to apply those to somebody else. You know, you can always dictate what you do, but in this world, my belief, my core belief, is that I should never inject my opinions and my beliefs on somebody else. You know, I think the world would be a lot better place if we didn't try and dictate our agendas onto other people. If we just let them live their life, as long as it didn't affect us. And, you know, there's always that caveat, as long as it doesn't directly affect you or how, you know, or what you do in your life. So, but anyway, getting back to funeral. So yeah, I think about mine, and I know I talked to somebody at work and said I was going to talk about the subject, and he goes, "Why? Why do you think about yours?" And I'm like, I don't know. I just do, because I wonder who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, who's going to, you know, what are they going to say, how many people are going to be there. I mean, it is a topic that I think about, and I can't help but think about it because I know that this life is temporary. Hopefully, according to all that we believe, there is a life eternal as long as we believe and we, you know, we hand our life over to the greater good, you know, and that we do what we're supposed to, that there is another life waiting for us. But in this life, in the physical life here, this is what we have, and we know that it is finite. It doesn't last forever. So that's, I don't know, that's one of the things I think about. And I want to know, do you think about your funeral, or am I the only one? Am I the only one that thinks about this topic and who's going to be there and what are they going to say? What are your, if you do think about it, what are your hopes for your funeral? You know, do you hope that there's a lot of people, that there's nobody? You know, what do you hope they say? Do you agree with me, not agree with me? You know, this whole thing is supposed to be a conversation, and so far the only people commenting want me to join their spam Instagrams, and I'm not up for that. So I want comments from real people, whether they're on the Facebook video, the YouTube video, the Twitter, whether they're on the Libsyn RSS feed. I don't care. I want to hear what you have to say on this topic. So comment, like, share, follow. All those things help this thing grow, because that's how PTR Radio and On the Road Again with Shaggy specifically reach more listeners. That's the whole purpose for this. Get our voices out there, get the conversation going with you guys, and reach more people so that, you know, we can build this thing that we started so many years ago, and hopefully continue having this type of conversation in the future. So with that said, I'm going to go pick out some new shoes because I'm almost there. So I'll see you on the next road trip.